Hello everyone, it's me, Robert, and I'm back today to ask you a question. Well, and to sort of answer one. Isn't it a good time to talk about the Transformers franchise? Well, yes, it is in a way, and yeah, but you're probably wondering to yourself, Robert, what are you talking about? You've got it wrong. It's not that. Isn't it a good time to be a Transformers fan? Well, let me explain. This video is going to be two video responses mixed together into one video. Yes, I know it's breathtaking. You might need to step back for a minute, take a breath. It's that amazing. But the other video response I'm doing is to Armory Reviews 1, who recently did a video talking about the Transformers franchise in general, what he likes about it, and stuff like that. And so I thought I'd try and mix it in with kalelprimes video that he did a while back, which everyone seems to have done a video response to. So I'm just hopping on the bandwagon and hoping that I'll give my sort of view on the opinion. So yeah, this video will be quite long because it's also a test to see how long this camera can last before I have to replace the batteries. So if I suddenly edit this video halfway through, you know why that's happened. So without further ado, let's get going on it then. Firstly, let's talk about the shows, because Transformers without the shows wouldn't be where it is today. It would just be a couple of people sitting in a hall going, we like Transformers. Oh wait, it is that, sort of. Anyway, just G1, because Generation 1 is where it was, it's what started it all, and without it you wouldn't have half the stuff you have nowadays. Generation 1 is awesome, well at least I think it's amazing. I weren't alive when it was originally aired, but I have watched it as I have been growing up, so technically I can say I watched while I was growing up, even though it was just on a DVD. Yeah, and I didn't really watch it in the right order. I watched the movie, then Season 3, then Season 1, and Season 2. It's a messed up order that the world live in, but yeah. I absolutely love it. Despite its animation errors, despite its flaws, it's just so nice. It really is. The stories are so fun. Yet, even like every episode, you know the Autobots are gonna win. It's just like, yeah, this is awesome. It's so cool. And I wish they had just done more, to be honest, but it ended quite abruptly. I mean, Rebirth was supposed to be the beginning of Season 4, cough cough, Season 4, but that never happened. So what we got was one epic story, because I am a fan of the Rebirth. I know there's people out there who don't like it, because it's got headmasters in. Headmasters are cool, okay? They are cool, depending on how you perceive headmasters, because they're either small robots or they're people inside exosuits that attach to robots. So depending on how much you like humans, it depends on how much you like them, really. So yeah. But yeah, and then afterwards you got the free Japanese series, which I know Armory Reviews, or Tom as he's known, was saying that he's only seen a couple of the Generation 1 seasons, I think 1 and 2. Well, trust me, once you get to Season 3, afterwards I would suggest watching Headmasters, because Headmasters is cool. It's good if you can get past the fact that most of the time you'll be reading subtitles in English, because it's not been translated or done a fan dub of most of the series. There has been fan dubs, and there will be one coming out soon, thanks to Matt Clark, Timey, who I watched his video the other day. We're getting a new fan dub for the series, so that's going to be awesome. And it's going to take place, it's going to sort of pick up where Dark Horse Productions left off, which were another sort of fan dub company which did that sort of thing. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that, because I am a fan of the series. Although if you don't like it, then it's fair enough, because it's very different. It's very anime. Very anime. But I know, Tom, you like Armada, so you should like it. And then you have Master Force, which... it's Master Force then. Yeah. Despite being given another Fort Max repaint and given Junior Headmasters, the series, oh jeez, the series was okay, I suppose. I mean, if you like Pretenders and you like a series that is so based on humans that without them it wouldn't work, and the series would just be a complete and utter flop, then you might like it. But if you don't like humans in Transformers, then avoid it. Just skip to Victory, because Victory's awesome. So yeah, it was probably the weakest of the 4 series. So or 3 if you count Zone as a series. But yeah, just skip it. And then you get onto Victory, which is awesome. Victory is just I like it. Very anime, very. It's got awesome characters. I mean, you got a Victory Leo from it. You got Starsaber. Starsaber is an awesome character, and without that series, you wouldn't have actually got the toy, which is now very rare, and you'd be lucky to see it AA. Really, if you've got one, you're a very lucky person, because I know quite a few people want a Starsaber. Yeah, but it was an awesome series. Then you had Zone, which was 1 episode, and it was awesome still. Even though it was 1 episode, it was cool, because it originally was going to be a whole series, but then they decided, no, we can't be bothered with it, so we're just going to leave 1 episode. But it's still awesome. It's got combiners fighting each other, like we should have seen in Generation 1, but they've got cloaks on, and they look awesome. And it's like, yeah. And then Triptychon's there, and it's like, okay, it's cool. And then you've got Black Zarek as a pirate, and it's like, well, maybe that's not so cool. And then you've got this weird demon head thing, which is supposed to have resurrected these generals, although, to be honest, if I resurrect any Decepticons, it would have been Megatron and Galvatron, so yeah. But it's awesome anyway, and you can probably find, there's a fan dub of it on YouTube, so just look around and you'll find it. As well as Victory, there's TF Cog. They do a quite good fan dub of it, and they've like done most of the series now. They've got up to a certain episode, but it's awesome still. So yeah, that was the Japanese exclusive series in G1. It's where it all started, really. And hopefully next year for the 30th anniversary, because I'll get onto this later, but hopefully for the 30th, something will be done to sort of homage Generation 1. And I'll get onto ideas for shows next year later on in the video, but I hope they at least appreciate G1. I hope they give a little nod to say, look, this is where it began. This is like the 30th anniversary. We have to. So, then you have Beast Wars and Beast Machines, and I've never watched them. I mean, I suppose I'm not really a fan of the Beast formers as a toy. I like Generation 1 Beasts because they're awesome, like Predaking and Abonimus, and one of the Duocons I think is a beast, and who else? The Firecons and all that. They're awesome. But I never really got into Beast Wars. I mean, if I had the time, and if I have the time in the future to sit down and watch the whole series from start to finish, then I would do. But to be honest, I haven't got time nowadays. Like, I mean, what with the podcast, what with doing YouTube videos, what with just work in general, it's really, I haven't got time, to be honest. Although I would love to sit down and watch it, so maybe in the future, if life changes and I get time to do stuff, then yeah, maybe I'll sit down and watch it, but I'm not promising anything. And the same with Beast Machines, to be honest. So yeah. Then you had a RID. R-I-D-D-D. Oh, ooh, ee, ooh, ah. It's another one of those series. It's another one of bit like Master Force. Although, I don't know. Could you say that Master Force is better than RID? Oh, that's going into a whole other video. I don't even want to go into that. But yeah, RID was okay-ish. Oh god. I mean, to be honest, it should have just been purely in Japanese, because then it would make more sense. I mean, putting English voice actors over it was okay, but you could tell it was just made for Japan. It was like, yeah, that's just, yeah. Unlike Armada, where Armada can be seen by both, which, if you get me. But, at least we got Shark Bite. That was cool. A talking shark. I mean, what's more awesome than that, talking shark? who like had his first premiere in More Than Meets Robots in Disguise issue. Oh, what was it? 4? Yeah, I think it's 4. So that was quite awesome. Then you move on to the Unicron trilogy, which is a subject of hate between many Transformers fans. It's an area where Transformers fans just go... Although, to be honest, I like Armada. Okay, I'm going to say it now. I like Armada. If you've seen previous videos from me, then you'll know that I'm a fan of Armada. And that, oh, I just like it. I mean, I'm looking at the toys now that I've got over there, and they're just awesome. Although, there were some abysmal toys in that range, which I will get onto at a later date. But yeah, if you can look past the show, because the show is what puts many fans off. They watch the show and go, oh, I don't like this, and then just skip any other aspect of it. If you can look past the show, because yes, it did have its problems. It was, at times, the humans, you didn't need the humans, to be honest. They were just annoying, to be honest. I'm saying to be honest a lot, aren't I? I should stop that. But, ew, the humans, I mean, they were annoying. Some episodes, it was just intolerable. Because they have no element to the story. They don't bring anything constructive to Armada, to be honest. The only thing they're there for is whining. Which, yeah. Although, I understand why they've put humans in series up to date, and Jim, Monkey Zen, will probably explain this much better than I do. But it's because people can recognise cars with humans inside them better than just cars on their own talking. So yeah, it's something like that. But just check out Jim's videos and or Monkey Zen's, and you'll see that he's talked about it many a times. So yeah, but Armada was good. The toys are good, most of them. I mean, the Megatrons are lovely. Tidal Wave, oh, nice. And the Seekers from Armada are always good. And then you've got the Dreamwave comics, which many people forget. They look at the toys, they look at the show, and then they go, it was an okay series, but they don't look at the comics, because the comics, really, the comics should have been how the show was. The comics were awesome. They introduced new fractions of minicons that didn't like either the Autobots nor Decepticons, and they were living on the moon. That's awesome. And they kidnapped one of the kids and sort of hold him in this stasis chamber type thing. If you've read the ongoing issue 20 or Chaos Theory, you'll know what I mean. The harness that they put Megatron in, well, they put Carlos in something like that. Or is it Rad? I can't remember. It's one of the annoying kids. But yeah. So they're awesome. And then, of course, at the end, they've got Unicron, because you have to have Unicron in Armada. And anyway, without Armada, you wouldn't have got a Unicron toy, which I've said many a times. But it's true that you would not have a Unicron toy now. And Unicron was one of those people that is quite... It needs a toy, really. It's like a Megatron and a Prime. You need a Prime, you need a Megatron, you need a Unicron in your collection. If you don't have any of them, then your collections needs one. It just needs one. So yeah, then you had Energon, which the show is very bad. It's extremely bad. It's a life-changing experience. If you have watched Energon all the way through, and even if you've had even if you've watched one set of episodes, then had a break, then watched the next set of episodes, you still watched it all the way through, like I did. And it's a very life-changing experience, because at the beginning you go, okay, I'm going to watch this, see what it's like. Oh, it's alright, the story's a bit, it's only been a couple of hours, I'll watch some more. Yeah, it's alright, the story's getting a bit worse, but yeah, oh, it's actually been like nearly a day now of watching it. Oh, I'll watch a bit more. Oh, it's been a week and the story's still going on, even though it should have finished long ago. Then you get to a month, and it's like, okay, this is getting a bit scary now. The story keeps going, characters are dying and then being reformatted. It's like, okay, I'm quite scared now. I don't know where this is going to go. Then you get to a year, and it's like, I've been watching this for a year. It's like, why is it still going? I don't understand any of it anymore. I mean, the story has lost anything. There's no plot to it. It's just people fighting each other for the sake of it. And then you have combiners, which aren't combiners. They're just robots with extra robots on them. Actually, they're not even robots. They're basically like armor. They're like a bot that's armored up. There we are. That's one way of saying it. And then you're like, okay, I've watched this far. I might as well see to the end to see if they redeem the series in any way. And then you watch the end and you're like, no, they haven't. And I've just wasted half of my life watching a series that is so bad. It's appalling. And that's when you have the moment like, wow, that was a waste of my time. Your eyes are just opened to how bad it is. So, yeah. Or you can not watch it and just realise how bad it is anyway. So, it's up to you. But the toys were good. Some of them, actually. We got another tidal wave. We got Scorponok. That's awesome. Even though in the show, he did nothing, really. I mean, you don't really know which side he was on, and he died, and then it's like, oh, that's sad. Although not really, because you're fed up with the character by that point. Oh, God. It's Energon's a horrible experience. It really is. And then you got the Dreamwave comics, which are actually good. That's the only thing I will say. The Dreamwave comics for Energon are good. They're a bit like the Armada, because they do follow on from each other. And Dreamwave, if only they hadn't have gone bankrupt, and we saw how the Energon comics could have ended, then it would have been awesome, because the Dreamwave comics, the show, should have looked at the Dreamwave comics and gone, that's good story writing, that's how we should write Energon. Or maybe we'll pinch a couple of ideas from there to make the show a tad better. But no, you don't. You just have several episodes where bots are fighting in a computer game with anime-esque girls going, eh. Don't even watch that. Don't even get me started on that episode. But yeah. And then you have Cybertron, which most people say is the best out of all three of them. I've only seen a couple of episodes, which is terrible, really. It's bad. But the toys are good. I mean, I've got a Jetfire, Cybertron Jetfire, and that's awesome. But the show is good. I mean, it introduced themes such as Starscream being not necessarily a renegade. Well, he was a renegade, wasn't he? But disobeying Megatron like always. But then going off and starting up his own sort of fraction of Decepticons, which is cool. It's something that later Transformers series have sort of touched on and sort of got ideas from. And then he becomes the size of Primus and takes on Primus. Cool. And you've got time travel in the series, and you've got all sorts of other cool themes. So yeah, Cybertron was a good series. And then you got Large Break between that and the movies. And now I'm not going to discuss the movies in this video. However, I am saying that if Transformers 4 was coming out this year, which I doubt it, today we saw that they may have started filming. Although, to be honest, if they've started filming now, then you must realise it won't be out this year. It will be out next year. They'll tie it in for the 30th anniversary. They'll go, okay, look, here's the 30th anniversary, let's release another Michael Bay film. Because that always works, doesn't it? No, it doesn't. But, oh jeez, the films. I mean, we had a whole talk about this on Skype Sundays last week, and Gerard, Wolfgang1, made great points saying that basically the movies should be just given a rest for several years. A bit like the Batman films. When the original Batman film, Batman and Robin, came out, it was like, that's bad. We're going to give it a rest for 5 or 6 years. And then afterwards, maybe pick it up when we've got better writers, better story direction, and better ideas. And that's what they should do with Transformers, really. Just stop making the Michael Bay films, give it a rest for several years, maybe have a Transformers TV series while still going on while there's no films, and then get a new director, get new people to make the films in several years' time, and hopefully they'll be better. But no, of course not. That will never happen, because the films for Hasbro and for Bay are huge money-making enterprises. I mean, I'm not an expert on economics or money, but they have made millions, billions maybe, of dollars just through the films. It's ridiculous. And they won't give up something that makes that much money easily. They'll just want to milk it as much as they can so that they can get all the money. Because basically what this comes down to in the end, and it's the same with the recent Transformers plastic problem, it's people want to make money. Greed is a dangerous thing, although greed also keeps the world going round. And when people become greedy, they want to find money the quickest and easiest way they want it, basically. And if that's milking a series of films which should have died by the first one, then they'll do it, frankly. They won't stop a series which is their most income just like that. It's not logical, it's not economical, and it's not the right thing to do for a company that makes that much money. But that's a completely different... I'm going off track here. That's completely different. So, yeah, the films came out, and I'll talk about that in a completely other different video. Then you had animated, which... Animated, again, is one of those shows where you either really like it, or you really hate it. I used to really hate it. However, then I watched it, and I really like it now. I mean, when it first aired, I couldn't give a frack about it, to be honest. But now it's on. Now it's like not on anymore, and I watched it. I love it. I absolutely do. It has so many references, so much. It takes elements of previous Transformers series, but creates them in a new way, which people would like. It refreshes the Transformers fandom, if you will, if that's a right way of saying it. It rejuvenates it, and yes, some of the themes in it were maybe not that good, but overall the series was brilliant, and it should not have been cancelled, but there's nothing we can do anymore now. It's been so many years since it was on, I think 3 or 4 years since it was on, and they're not going to make any more. I mean, getting the BotCon Stunticon box set was a great, sort of joy, and then the comic that came with it, but they won't make anything else animated. There's no money in it, frankly. For the people for Hasbro, the money lies in the films at this point in time. They're not going to go back on a series that is long since dead in their eyes and start to produce toys or produce comics from that. They're going to look to the future and look to something like Prime or something like Transformers 4. They're going to start making toys to do with them, or carrying on the toys to do with them. So animated is dead, frankly. Despite how much we all really don't want to hear it, it's dead. And yeah, it's sad, but there is reasons for it. So then you have Prime, and now you probably already know this already. I am a hater of Prime. I hate it. Well, I say I hate it. I dislike it. I don't hate it with everything I have. I'm just not into it, to be honest. The main reason is I find Prime really boring. I mean, really boring. I watched the first 4-part opening story to it, and it was okay. But in the end, it was just, oh, let's go and stop Megatron. Oh, we stopped Megatron now, everything's fine again. Oh no, Megatron's doing something and we have to go and stop him. End of the episode, we've done it and now everything's fine again. Ugh, and it's just repetitive. Even when they put Unicron in it, which, hey, I'm a fan of Unicron, but then they went and made him a volcano. I mean, what the hell? Unicron is not supposed to be a mountain that just erupts and starts attacking Earth. Unicron is the size of Earth. It's just, no. And, yeah, I mean, there are fans of it. I know Jim Monkey Zen is a fan, and he's making a video probably now saying about why he loves Prime. But I just find it really boring. And the toys, what with the recent downfall in plastic and the recent downing in ratings for Prime and viewings, the toys have been affected the most, to be honest. I mean, if Prime had lots of viewers, if the plastic situation globally and economically was stable at this time, the toys, I think, would have turned out better. However, because of certain circumstances, they have just turned out badly, in my opinion. And they've suffered. Because take Arachnid, there we are, that's the Prime toy that most people hate. Yeah, I can see why they hate it, but think, if Hasbro had more money, more plastic to spend on that character, then it would have come out so much better, and it would have been a good toy. It's just due to circumstances in the economy and in the Transformers fandom, as you will, the toys haven't been what they should have been. I mean, you saw that everyone likes the first editions, and they thought that RID was going to be like the first editions, but it just shows you how time changes. Time is your worst enemy, to be honest. So, but I am happy in a way, because Prime is coming to an end this year, with the last series airing very soon. It's going to be Prime Beast Hunters. Okay. Let's just talk about Beast Hunters for a moment. I get the idea where they're coming from. I get that they're beasts and that they're trying to sort of have a nod to Beast Wars, and it's going to be like trying a new way in the Transformers. Hasbro's finding new ways to market Transformers. But, I mean, when you just stick some plastic on a toy that is already bad and then repackage it, it won't work. Beast Hunters Bumblebee. It's just the Prime Bumblebee with lots of extra little plastic bits on it, and they hope that that will sell. Well, I don't think so. And then you have the other scale, which you have like Predaking. That toy looks quite cool, in my opinion. It has some flaws, yeah, but it looked okay. But that's because it's a new mould. It's not a repaint. It's not a remold of anything. It's a new mould entirely. So, and it depends, because with clips of the series that we've seen, or the new series, it's just season 3 of Prime. It looks like what happened in season 2 of Prime. I know the ending of season 2, that the base gets blown up and the Autobots are scattered and Megatron's sort of won, and then they just retcon it. And it's like, oh. It looks like they're trying to give Prime the last hurrah. They're trying to say, look, we're trying to give Prime more, even though it's coming to an end. Which, it won't work, in my opinion. It won't work, because the amount of hatred that Prime has got, the amount of dislike that the series has got, finding new ways to try and rejuvenate it, if you will, it won't work. It really won't. So yeah, Prime is coming to an end, which is cool. I don't mind. Will I be sad to see it go? Obviously not. I'll be glad. And then we got next year, or should I say end of this year, and we've got the newer series starting, which, now there's been a lot of rumours about the new series, okay? Firstly, it was said that it was going to be a much more adult-themed, IDW-based series, which, it sounds awesome. It really does, but there is problems with it. One, making Transformers an adult series limits their market in terms of toy-wise and in terms of viewers. So Hasbro aren't going to do that, because Hasbro's main target audience are young children. They're not collectors. They're not people who do videos like us. They're just small kids who like to play with Transformers and smash them half the time. They won't make a series that is purely based for adults, because then they'll lose profit. They'll lose most of their income or whatever. I don't know anything about money or economics, so I'm just going on whatever. But yeah, they won't make it. However much we would love to have a new adult series, they just won't, because there's no point. And Sammy, Skullgrim140, said this much better. Go check out his video, because he did say the reasons why, and he explains it much better than I do. So go check out the channel. But yeah, if only. And see, now that that is probably not going to be an option, what is the series going to be? Now, people have said it's going to be a homage to Generation 1. That's cool. If it's a series that gives nod to the fans, if it gives something for the fans, if it's going to be not like Generation 1, but has the same sort of appeal as Generation 1, then it'd be cool. But if it's something that's trying to too hard to be Generation, if it's a direct copy of Generation 1, it won't work. It'll just be a huge flop, which is why quite a few people are cautious, including me, about this new series. And of course we won't know anything until BotCon. So, we'll have to see at BotCon. If there's a trailer that comes out, if there's concept art, if there's anything like that, then it should be cool. But I can't really say much more about that because it's worried. And also, if this series is supposed to be designed for the 30th anniversary, and if it just is one series that runs for the 30th anniversary, what then? Because they can't make a season 2 of it. They can't keep carrying it on after the 30th anniversary, because then it will just lose its appeal. It won't be the series that it started out as, and loads of fans will just turn it off and go, no, we don't want to watch this anymore. But if it's only one series, it begs the question that, are we going to have another Prime-esque series after the 30th anniversary? So in 2 years' time, is it going to go back to what it's like now, with the toys and the show being quite bad, and fans just going, no, we don't like it? So what's going to happen? It's the same with the toys, because what we saw at Toy Fair looks awesome. The Metroplex, the triple changes like Springer and Blitzwing. But it begs the question, okay, if the plastic quality of these triple changes is good, if it's like what we was used to several years ago, then that would be cool. It means next year's going to be a good year for Transformers fans. But then you have to beg the question that, well, what happens after it? If this rising plastic quality is only due to the 30th anniversary, then will the plastic quality just go down afterwards? Will it go back to prime quality of plastic? Which is a worrying thought. The future of Transformers, it's worrying after the 30th anniversary. If you don't look that far ahead, it's fine, because next year is going to be an awesome year. But if you look further ahead, then it's troubling, was the word. So, we're going to have to see about that. And obviously, the other side of the table is that the plastic quality can remain low, and that all of the stuff we've seen at Toy Fair is actually bad, because the quality of the plastic is so shit, basically. A toy can be fantastic, it can look fantastic, and it can have great articulation, but if the plastic quality isn't there, then no one's going to buy it. So, 33 minutes is how long this camera takes to capture. It's the maximum, which I found out. So that means for the past 30 minutes of what I've just recorded, I was talking to myself. But anyway, what I was going to say is that all of the stuff I'm saying about the 30th anniversary is speculation. We don't know until we see further images, so it's kind of up in the air at the moment. Next, comics. Mainly IDW, because Dreamwave was an amazing series, but it should have gone on longer. If only they hadn't have gone into bankrupt, then I'm sure they would have come up with some quite cool things, especially if you read scripts. But that's for another video. And Generation 1 Marvel is just a classic. You have to read it. So IDW, and Tom, you were saying that you have only read All Hail Megatron and Wreckers and the Bumblebee, and probably more than meets the eye in RID. Well, yeah, that's all cool. I love that. They're good. Some of them are... Wreckers is amazing. But some things in the new series, in More Meets the Eye and RID, and All Hail Megatron and Wreckers, some of the stuff was set up earlier. It was set up in Furman's run. It was set up in the Asian series. Mainly Escalation, Devastation, Revelation, and the original Spotlights. And also Stormbringer. The early stuff, which I really love. I absolutely love Furman's work in IDW. And I'm sure on the podcast, if you listen to us, you'll just see how much passion I have for those early comics. And point example, RID issue 10, the second part of the Orion Pax story. A lot of stuff in Orion Pax story was set up in Furman's. For example, Chihaxus, Bludgeon, Monstructor. These characters were all heavily influenced by Furman in the early IDW stuff. So, really, to be able to get a sense of the character, you should go back and read the early stuff. Now, we probably will, and I'm not saying this just to you, I'm saying this to anyone who's getting into Transformers IDW comics. Start with the early stuff and work your way forward, because it will make much more sense to you. It really will. And some of the early stuff is phenomenal pieces of writing. Spotlight Shockwave, Spotlight Cup, there's some good stuff. But it's awesome. In terms of RIT and More Than Meets the Eye at the moment, they're going strong. The future of them is up in the air. We don't know. We've seen solicits for the next couple of months, and what it looks like is something big's happening in the future, or another event is happening, and with quite a lot of the Lost Lights crew being killed off in recent issues and in future issues, it sort of begs the question is, where can they go? I mean, they found Crystal City, they're still looking for the Knights of Cybertron, if they ever exist, so where is it going? And in RID, you've got Megatron's return, if you don't know already, sorry for the spoilers, and it seems that RID is just going to turn out into another war, and maybe the Decepticons will win. However, I feel that the two series are going to meet somewhere. They're going to meet at one particular point, and it will probably be next year, in time for the 30th anniversary. IDW will probably set it up so that the two stories intertwine in a big event. Hopefully it won't be like Chaos, which was a complete and utter letdown, a bit like most of the ongoing series for that matter. But let's just hope it'll be good. And if you read issue 10 of RID, it's a really complicated issue. There's a lot of stuff going on it, and at first when you read it, you're like, what the hell has happened? I don't understand any of it. And then you read it several times, and you're like, yeah, I begin to understand. And I highly suggest going to listen to the Underbase's review of it, especially Chris McFeely, because you just understand afterwards. You go, oh, I see. And there's certain things in the actual comic. There's one thing in particular which is like, oh, that's interesting. Maybe. That's good. Oh. And you start wondering, something in that comic is possibly hinting towards something big coming into the IDW universe. Now, I'm not going to say anything, but there's a particular page in that issue which you might be able to go back and read and find out. And once you realise what could potentially be coming up in Transformers the comics, you're like, oh my goodness, wow, that's, wow. Oh my goodness, wow. Of course, it could be nothing, but if it is, then next year is going to look amazing in terms of comics. And hopefully, I don't know if IDW will do this, but if they create their own series based on Generation 1, which is set probably during Season 1 or Season 2, which will run for a couple of months during the 30th anniversary, that would be awesome. That would just be amazing. And with the recent spotlights, they are trying to branch out into other elements of Transformers, which is cool. But their main focus at the moment is RID and More Than Meets the Eye. So if they don't do anything big, then I can understand why, because it will be taking place in those two series. So yeah, I love the comics, as you probably already know and probably gathered. They're just amazing. They're a part of Transformers that gives you another element, another aspect into the fandom and into the universe of Transformers itself. And some of the stories in it are great. If only some of the stories could be set up as issues or as TV shows, it would be amazing. And so, with the rumours of the IDW-based TV show maybe coming out, then I'm quite looking forward to it if that ever happens, but you've already known my opinions on that. Lastly, and Monkey Zen, Jim is going to kill me for this, but Today actually, I picked up a batch of comics. Now, as you probably already know, I have a pile of comics. It's that big, which I still have to read. They involve the last few issues of R.I.D. and Modern Meets the Eye, and Regeneration 1, and Spotlight Thundercracker. But I can't help it. I'm sorry. I know. I went out and brought some more. And when I mean more, I mean all of those glorious, lovely issues. And oh my goodness. At least now I'm up to date. Even if I haven't read all of them, at least I've got them in some form or another. So yeah, that was probably what I'm going to be doing for the next several months or two. But I really need to get on top of comics. So, books. Because in terms of Transformers, books probably the weakest point. The Transformers books that have come out to this point have been rubbish. Take Exiles and Exodus. The story writing is bad for Transformers. If you want to read a book which has no depth to it, it has quite a lot of character references to Generation 1. It has a story that starts off well but then ultimately fails at the end. Then read those two books. If you want a story that's full of depth and full of, I don't know, say good story writing, then pick up a comic. Pick up More Than Meets the Eye, issue 1, because that's awesome. So yeah, the books have been bad. I mean, what we've got so far is basically movie adaptations, movie prequels, and it's just been... I mean, the only time that Transformers books have attempted to be good was during Dreamwave. And what did we get from that? We got the Keeper Saga. And that was just shit. I'm sorry, that was just bad. They tried to take a comic and turn it into a book. Now, that's already bad. But then you have writers on it which don't really know how to write Transformers. So, it weren't a good series. And the future for books in terms of Transformers, I feel that the way they're going, they probably won't do any more for a long time. I mean, next year, obviously, I know they're bringing out a 30th anniversary book, but that's not a storybook. I'm talking about purely storybooks here, not the reference books. The reference books are brilliant. You've got like the Almanac, you've got More Than Meets the Eye, the profile book, which is awesome. It's absolutely amazing. The artwork in that's phenomenal. And you've also got the Vault and stuff like that, and the Bible. But in terms of storybooks, they haven't been good. And next year, with the release of Transformers 4, which will probably come out, we'll probably have another movie prequel and a movie adaptation. It's like, no, we're sick to death of books that are trying to be based on the movies. I mean, the comics that were based on the movies were quite good, but the books just, no, the books aren't good. So, I'm worried. Moving on to toys, because I'm briefly going to talk about toys. I'm not going to go into a whole lot, because I talk about them anyway. Stuff we got from Toy Fair looks awesome, as I said before. Triple changers are always awesome. Possible Astro Train triple changer, yes please. However, if it's going to be a Fall of Cybertron look, then I don't know if I'll pick it up. See, what would be ideal for Astro Train, because I'm a big Astro Train fan, is that we have a Transformer that has a decent train mode, e.g. steam train, not some bullet train that looks quite cool, but like a proper steam train, you know, like Generation 1 maybe, and a space shuttle that looks awesome. So far we've got a space shuttle that looks awesome and a robot mode that looks good, but we haven't got like all three of those mixed together, which is what we need. So hopefully that could be awesome. But also, the fact that you've got Transformer toys that are coming out that are directly related to IDW, such as the IDW Megatron, that looks awesome. That toy looks amazing. You've also got the Bumblebee, which looks okay. You've got the Orion Pax, which is, but the point is, they are based on the comics. So you're thinking, okay then, that's cool. If they keep bringing out spotlights and bringing out toys, then one another will make each other work. Like, we've got Hoist Spotlight coming out, we've got Trail Breaker, not Cutter, because Cutter's not a proper name. stupid damn copyright. So we got toys for them. So it's like, oh, this is quite cool. We've got a Skywarp toy coming out, so maybe we'll get a Skywarp Spotlight. Who knows? That would be awesome if we did. But if that lasts until next year, if they keep that up for next year, that would be awesome. However, if they stop it before then it would be good, but it should just go on for a couple of years. Because I love the way they're doing this. Although it all depends on how the plastic of the toy is. But again, we won't see that until we find more reviews and see more pictures of it. And the 30th anniversary in general, there are a lot of people, like me, who are worried about the 30th anniversary. Because we don't know what it's going to have, we don't know what's going to come up. And it's either going to be A, a massive flop, and it's going to be terrible, or B, it's going to be an amazing year for Transformers fans. We all hope it's going to be the second. But depending on certain circumstances, it could be the first. And that's what worries me. Because an event like this doesn't come up regularly. The next one will be the 50th, and that won't be for another 20 years. So, if this is a flop, then I can imagine it will deter quite a few fans off Transformers for good. And it could send the franchise plummeting down to its death, frankly. But hopefully it won't. Hopefully the 30th anniversary will be a time when more fans will turn to Transformers. We'll see an increase in fans, an increase in the plastic quality, an increase in the good amounts of toys. More comics are awesome. And it will just revive the Transformers franchise as a whole. So it can go either way, really. It frankly can. And it's worrying thought. So everyone at the moment is sort of going, okay, what's going to happen next year? We're all very tense on next year. So, But also, next year, for the 30th, if they are doing a Generation 1 series that's going to homage it, if they are doing a sort of nod to the fans, then wouldn't it be awesome if they just give the fans a bit of recognition now and then? Say like, oh yeah, these are the fan groups that have helped Transformers thrive for a year. Even if it's just mentioning a few conventions now and then. Or mentioning certain fans around the world. It would be awesome. Just a bit of recognition to say, look, without you, Transformers wouldn't be where it is today. It wouldn't have carried on. It would have just died after Unicron trilogy and before the movies. But because you're the fans that have continued it, you've let it thrive. So it would be awesome. And I know that many conventions next year are going to be orientated towards the 30th anniversary. BotCon, you can obviously tell, the set is going to be designed for the 30th anniversary. The theme is going to be the 30th anniversary. However, smaller conventions such as AA and that, AA is probably going to keep the way it is. Now that's cool because AA is just awesome the way it is. But I don't know. They may have events for the 30th. They may have something to say that it's the 30th. But it would just be nice to have some recognition. Even if the year was a complete disaster, yet they still recognise fans, that would just make my day. It really would. So, talking of AA, I am excited for it. It is less than 5 months away, maybe 4. My calculations are shit, so please excuse me. But I'm looking forward to it. The amount of people I have got to know in this time, in between the last year and this year, is extraordinary. And what with the podcast, it's going to be an awesome time. I'm looking forward to seeing so many people. So many people via YouTube, via media sites. It's just going to be one hell of a time. So I look forward to it. And yeah, it's going to be awesome this year. And next year it's probably going to be awesome. If the 30th anniversary is a success, and if it brings more fans to Transformers, then AA is going to have a rise in the number of attendees, and it's just going to keep rising in its awesomeness. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And that pretty much does it for the video. This has been a very long video. I hope you haven't watched this all the way through in one long sitting, because that would be just terrible. Seriously, I couldn't even do that. good on you if you have. But yeah, it's been very long. There should be timestamps down below if I haven't put them in already. I should remind myself. So this is me reminding myself to do that. Time, it's a strange thing. So yeah, and the last little bit is a couple of shout-outs. Firstly to Armory Reviews 1, who I'm responding to his video, as well as kalelprime. His name's Tom. He does great videos. They're very professional. He doesn't seem to ramble much. And when he is rambling, you can't tell that he's rambling. It's done in such a way that you enjoy his videos even if he's saying something very pointless. Not that he is saying anything pointless, but his videos are just so good. Check him out. He's just done... What did he last review? I think it was Universe Tread Bowl, which, again, awesome mold. I want to get that when I get away, but that's another story for a different time. Secondly, Wolfgang1, or Gerard. Awesome guy. Talked to him on Skype Sundays for the past couple of weeks, and he has some great views on how the Transformers franchise can be relifted, how it can be regenerated and renewed. And he also does YouTube videos, so go check out his channel. He's just an awesome dude. Cool. So, yeah, I hope I meet you at AA. If you ever do watch this, I hope I meet you at AA. And finally, TW Pikachu, who recently subscribed to the channel and who I subscribed to. Again, great guy. He has just done a Generation 2 Megs review, which is awesome considering he picked it up at a boot sale, a car boot sale. Wow. I'd like to find G2 Megs at a car boot sale. That'd be awesome. But yeah, so go check out his channel, subscribe if you like him, etc. Finally, last little bits before you go, Iconic Reviews. This week we are reviewing issue 5 of Autocracy. We're nearly halfway through Autocracy. I will be hosting this week. Or it depends when this video is uploaded, because if it is already uploaded then you already know this. But yeah, next week we have another guest returning to the show. Look forward to that. I'm not going to say who it is because I'm trying to keep it as a surprise. Although if you go to Monkey Zen's channel you'll find out who it is. But yeah, so please keep supporting the podcast. If you like comics, if you're new to the channel and this is the first video you've seen, hi, hello, nice to meet you. Very nice to meet you. If you don't know what Iconic Reviews is already, me and Monkey Zen TV, who go check out his channel, review Transformers comics, IDW, from the very early stuff. We start off at the very beginning, and our plan is to work through most of the Furman and get up to All Hail Megatron and the ongoing. Although that will take us several years. So, yeah. But at the moment we are reviewing Autocracy. If you love comics, please go check out. The link will be below. If you just like to listen to people's opinions on Transformers, then check it out by all means. The reason it was set up is to let fellow Transformers fans talk with each other about it. So yeah, we also have a Facebook group, which by all means, I'll put the link below. Go check it out. Please join the group if you want to know about the latest releases from the podcast, because the more support we get, the more we'll continue to do the episodes. And also, your feedback is more than welcome. I know I keep saying this, but people seem to fear when it comes to giving criticism of a podcast. Please, by all means, we want your criticism. We want your constructive criticism. We want to know how to make the podcast better, how to make it better for you, so that you keep enjoying it and listening to it, and eventually be able to have like quite a few of you who are watching this video on the actual show, because that's the plan, to have as many Transformers fans from all across the fandom as we can to give their views on the comics. So yeah, please by all means comment on the Facebook group, and that's it really. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope it hasn't been too long. Of course it's been long. It's nearly probably an hour long. It's ridiculous, I know. It's probably the longest video I have ever made. But still, coming up on the channel, there's a couple of reviews I plan to do. Maybe a couple of Energon reviews. Maybe some other reviews. They will be Transformers related because I'm in the Transformers mood at the moment. If you haven't already tell, I mean, it may not be that hard to see, but yeah. So until next time, guys, it's been Robert. Bye bye, everyone. I hope you've enjoyed the video. C'est la vie.